You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. What is up, everybody? This is the Heroes Power Hour. We are Heroes of the Storm podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com. I'm your host, DJ Tyrant, and with me is the full crew. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Blizzard drops a bunch of stuff for us. We had the conclusion of Crucible. We got some new teams in HGC, and we lost some teams in HGC. So lots to talk about, but as always, we like to start our show off with everybody's week in games. We're going to start off with Balrog fan. How are you doing? What have you been playing lately?
I recently decided to approach speedrunning Cuphead. I haven't put in the full effort yet. I got roughly 3/4 of the way through the run before I ended up tapping. But yeah, I'm going to keep working on that, hopefully set a time. I got the SNES Classic. Pretty cool. Played a lot of that. Played some Heroes, played a game of Heroes in the pre-show match that made room for bacon, but I did go 1-0, which probably better than your guys' overall record at the end of that. Yeah,
we're not going to talk about that. We're going to move on to Zexorus. How are you doing, my friend? How has your week been in Heroes?
I casted Thursday night the grand finals with Valoran, and that was pretty cool for Chair League Division 1, and it was the clowniest stuff I've ever seen. Past that, I've only played because I was hanging out with Balrog fan this weekend. We went and saw Hell in a Cell. It was, and I had no idea who anybody was, so I immediately latched on who I thought were the heels, except for Jinder Mahal. He's the Maharaja of my heart.
I was so thrilled during all of that, you know.
I can't believe he got the cardboard so he could make that hashtag not my Maharaja sign.
Yeah, I should have made the signs, but I got lazy.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, I mean, I played some Super Punch-Out on Charlie's his SNES Classic, and yeah, that was fun. That was good times.
Nice, awesome. Elena, how about you? How's your week been in games?
Not too much. Now that I'm working different shifts, so my gaming desire is all out of whack. Because usually I play games late night. Now I'm working late night, so I did level Anna up to about 6-ish. I still like it a lot. It's very dependent on what the enemy team comp is versus what my team comp is. How I build her. Especially on the heroics, but getting back into my favorites, I played a couple games of Tracer and Nazebo just to throw spiders at people, and now I have the Halloween event on both games, so I've been playing a little bit of that, well, on the PTR, but the Overwatch one is a lot of fun because it's like PvE mode, and it changed a little from last year, so that was entertaining.
Yeah, that released today for those of you watching live. PTR as well as the Overwatch Halloween event. Still have to check that out. But anyways, P-Flame G, how has your week been in games?
Very muted, apparently.
I'm very muted. I casted with Jimmy on Sunday, and we did the training grounds for the dorm teams. So Test was putting on an event for dorm teams to just kind of practice against each other. Basically streamed scrims. So it was cool getting to cast. I'd never cast with Jimmy before. Got to see some good teams play. And my wife has been getting back into HOTS now that she's upgraded her computer, which has been nice. And then this night I was exposed for how bad of a player I am. So that was fun.
I watched.
Oh
I
my
watched you
goodness.
lose 26 coins. That was fun.
That was pretty
My
brutal.
London game was like not great, but that was mostly a compositional thing. The next two games I just played really bad.
That
We all
happens.
have our off nights.
Yep. But yeah, as for myself in games, been pretty light, been really busy. Ended up actually going to Six Flags on Saturday night, and we'd never done a Fright Fest thing, and that was actually pretty fun. All the rides had like no lights on them, so it was really dark, and then obviously there's zombies and other stuff roaming around the park trying to scare you.
Did you get spooky scared?
I got spooky scared twice.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun though. But yeah, we're probably gonna go back again at some point. But yeah, as far as games, a little bit of Heroes here and there. Definitely played the pre-show games today, and they were fun, except when Powerhour fan left.
Yeah, and then we lost by like 4 levels 3 times in a row.
Yeah, no, it was rough.
I don't even understand what happened.
I don't either. Anyways, let's get on to the news because there is quite a bit of news to discuss. We did know that Junkrat was coming to Heroes, but we got the PTR available now for people to check out the new hero Junkrat, and with it comes not a surprise the Hallows End event, but also what has kind of been happening with pretty strong regularity is significant changes to some heroes, and we'll touch on some of those in a bit, especially the major reworks. But let's talk about Junkrat a little bit. We finally have his kit revealed to us, and there's some really interesting things in it, specifically I think the rocket ride, his second heroic, where he launches in the air, blows up a location, and then goes back to the altar. And it's you've played Junkrat, right? Physical?
I got 3 games in before the queue started getting a little fuzzy because solo queue PTR is fun.
Yeah. So what do you think about Junkrat? How does he play so far?
He's an interesting hero because a lot of people felt he was supposed to be that hero that came in and scared the crap out of everybody, and that's not true because a lot of the people who are trying to play him are used to heroes that have direct pinpoint accuracy. You aim at this spot, you hit this spot, and you hit nothing else but that spot, and he does not play that way. With him, you can bounce the frag grenades off of building to hit somebody, and you can spam it, and then you have the level 16 talent with the split and everything like that. But his heroics are kind of a matter of how you're going to play the game, because I actually, in Overwatch, I love Riptire. I think it's hilarious. I think you can do so many things with it, but it's very different in Heroes because there aren't high walls to climb and things to go over, with the exception of like a single wall between you and the team fight. It moves a lot slower in this game, so it's very easy to kill in comparison to the other one. And I mean, it might be easier for team fights on a more high rank level, but the rocket ride just is so much of a bully move because it can pair with so many things. Even before the level 20, you can pair it with your mosh pit, your ring of frost, your grav bomb, your maw, like all the things that are timed traps. It's the perfect direction for it. It moves a lot like forget the name of it, Johanna's leap, her leap, what is it called?
Sword.
Yes.
Sword.
It works like that, a little bit slower with a little less range. So it's one of those where if somebody is bullying your team, you can kind of peel them off. It works very well for peeling off Chromies and making her force recall back to her core. And the level 20 gets a little ridiculous because if you take the gosh, I forget the name of the talent, but it changed the cooldown down to 20 seconds. So by the time that clip you sent me, you can use it on a tower. And by the time you get back to the fight from your core and the respawn, the mount moves so fast that the timer is already up and you can use it continuously.
Mm. Yeah, so I don't know. When I first saw the breakdown of his skills, I just, in the back of my mind, like kind of like you were saying, this is going to be a really hard hero to use, I feel like, just because it's not a lot of direct damage. You have to really line up your shots and know how to ricochet the frag launcher and stuff like that. But for really, I don't know how to say it, but really forward-thinking players, they can really set up some solid traps, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how it works. And I like what they did with the Riptire, which is his ultimate from Overwatch. They brought it into Heroes, obviously, as they've done with all the Overwatch heroes. But you can hit a button to let it jump over, have it hop over heroes and terrain and stuff like that. So you can be really sneaky with that, and it's gonna be there's gonna be some fun clips of that, I'm sure.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that too, with the hopping.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that is very accurate with him is his W, his concussion mine. That's gonna be your thing you use for pushing people, like pulling them back towards the team fight if they're trying to escape, getting yourself out of damage, because that's the one thing about Junkrat that did transfer is he does not damage himself, which is very nice and makes him a little more scary in that thing. The one thing that I didn't like is his E, his steel trap. It doesn't arm for 2 seconds, so if you try to throw it down at someone who's coming at you or killing you, it doesn't do anything for a full 2 seconds. So they can dodge it, they can get away from it, they can see it happening.
Yeah, most definitely. I haven't got a chance to play him or really see his toolkit kind of in action on a live game, but it'll be, I think, interesting. In P-Flame-G, you play a lot of assassins. I mean, what do you think of Junkrat just from a tool set?
I think it's interesting. I think it'll be hard to set up. Like, I think to be good with Junkrat, you're gonna have to have effective traps and have really good displacement with your W. So he's gonna kind of be a more team fight distorting hero, and less of a I just pump out loads of damage hero. So, if that's what you're, good at, I would, you're not going to draft him with 2 supports and 2 tanks because you're never going to kill anybody. You probably won't kill a Murky. But, if you got another damage dealer and you really want some team fight control and some zoning and stuff like that, he'll probably be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The knockback on the concussion grenade does launch people over walls. So that's something to think about. That is pretty important, honestly. That either puts somebody way out of a team fight or into your base or something like that. There's a lot of clowny stuff you can pull off with that mine, and it seems really the distance is huge, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
For a regular ability and the amount of knockback that thing has, it's a little silly. I played one quick AI game with him, and his wave clear is actually pretty strong. And then it gets even better in the 16, where you can just start spamming frag grenades onto waves. Charlie and I were watching Alex the Pro G mess around with him, and that was pretty disgusting to watch. And like Helena said earlier, there was that clip of on Dunk Train's stream where this Junkrat just kept suiciding into a bottom fort and getting all the damage off the trait and the impact from the missile, and then ran right back, did it again. And you can't really stop that. Like, you have to completely lock him down in order to prevent that from happening.
Mm.
So that's.
And the return rocket is what, 4 times faster than normal speed?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, no, Charlie just distracted me.
Balrog fan, what do you think of Junkrat, having watched a little bit of his play?
Well, I don't know how much I can add to what was already said, but he just reminds me of an Asmodan type character, someone who's going to have very good range, very good lane clear and harass and all those kind of things. So I feel like he's definitely going to have a place in the meta, because those traps, those traps look very, very strong, and I just feel like he's going to play a disruptive split push build very well, maybe best so in the game. that currently has available.
Yeah,
I
most
also
definitely.
like his one ability or that you talent, chattering teeth, where you can make the traps chase heroes. That's fairly
Yeah.
entertaining.
That is.
Okay, so to be fair, that chattering teeth one kind of sucks.
I haven't tried it yet because
I tried it and it moves so slow. You need to set it up with like a late game Rhaegar totem or something.
That's what the thing I've been seeing. Some of the players don't like him, or they don't think he does enough damage because they're aiming him as a solo damage. Like, how much can I do with just this character by himself? And he doesn't seem to be that way. He seems to be more of a combination damage. Like, he builds off of who he's playing with.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, as Junkrat comes online, we'll have some more thoughts and impressions on him as he goes live. Your impressions are always different on the PTR versus live for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how his launch does versus other heroes. So we'll talk about those more in the coming weeks. One thing I did want to mention, we didn't have this on the notes, but what is happening in these major patches fairly often is the ranked battleground rotation is getting changed once again, and we're getting Sky Temple back. So I'm excited about that. It's one of my favorite battlegrounds, so super excited about that. We're also getting Garden and Braxis back. So unfortunately, but we are losing Infernal Shrines, Battlefield Return, and Warhead Junction. I'm okay with that. I feel like we've played the Diablo maps forever now, and I'm okay with them going away for a little bit here. But
it's my worst win rate by a long shot, so it's time to rank up.
Which one?
Battlefield.
Oh yeah. So any quick thoughts before we move on from that? Power fan, I know you have opinions on the battlegrounds.
Oh, I just don't like how they're lying to us and saying Volskaya Foundry is a map that...
Exactly! I still haven't gotten it.
I haven't got to play it once.
I've got it
nice.
twice.
They used to bump how often you'd get it for like a week or two after it showed up. That was pretty nice. I think ideally they do that and
but not have it
for ranked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can play your quick match on ranked draft and get a lot of practice on Volskaya, and then you hit ranked next week and you can use all your newfound knowledge.
Doesn't that mean that Garden of Terror is coming back for ranked?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was added to the rotation.
Yep, hard pass.
Warhead
There we go.
Junction or Garden of Terror, though, you know?
I'd rather have
Yeah,
Warhead.
I don't hate guard.
Well, hey, I mean, you can finish Warhead Junction in 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
That's exactly my point.
There we go.
We're not roll 20, so that'll never happen.
But yeah, yeah, exactly. But one of the really big reworks coming in this patch, and I honestly didn't see this coming, but I guess I shouldn't be too surprised about this, but Zul Jin getting a ton of changes to his kit. As is tradition lately with Blizzard, they're adding a baseline quest for Zul Jin, giving you better attack range and twin cleave revolving twice if you complete it. It's basically hitting basic attacks on heroes. That's the quest, and it's really interesting to see the direction they're going with this. And I almost feel like, especially with his talent at level 16, the new talent there, No Mercy, he's almost a counter to Garrosh now, or tanks in general, really.
I mean, he's good against, because the 16 talent is the basic attacks against heroes marked with Grievous Slow Ignore armor. So he's a counter to heroes with armor. I don't know that well, maybe. He's a short range hero until you get that quest up. So he's in threat from Garrosh, but he also has his ult to protect him if he gets thrown in. So maybe he's fine against Garrosh. I think he's just, in general, going to be a harder scaling hero. They baseline you want Axe, and you get just attack damage from it. And it's a nerf at the beginning, but you should get more attack damage by the end. You can get 2 separate attack range increases. The 20's got a lot better.
Yeah, that's also what I wanted to mention.
He's going to be really, really good late game.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I really like Zul Jin.
Yeah,
So-
but Buzzsaw at 20. It's the add-on for Guillotine. Now, if Guillotine kills a hero, you instantly heal to full health, which allows you
Yeah.
to be way more aggressive. And if you know you can get that kill with Guillotine, you can go for that now.
Yeah, and then his other ult upgrade, in addition to healing you for half the damage you deal, it will decrease the duration by 1 second. It's a huge survivability tool. And the other option, which I think is still a powerful ability, but will probably be outshined by Amani Resilience, is Forest Medicine, where his E no longer requires a channel and it cannot be interrupted. So it's just an activatable heal for 30% of your health. No questions asked. Which is nice.
I think people will pair that with Amani Rage, the new one he got at 4.
Monty Rage activates to instantly lose 50% of your current health and regained over 6 seconds.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
it could
point
be.
of that talent is to spike your damage.
Right, exactly.
Right.
If you have it like it feels dangerous to use to spike, but when you're pairing it with something like Forest Medicine, well,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's possible. I think definitely some people will pick a Monty Range, and sometimes they'll blow themselves up, and sometimes it'll be really cool.
and just speaking as an Uther main, I can tell you No Mercy is going to be a major pain in my ass because I rely heavily on that armor to mitigate my long cooldown. So he
Yes.
feels kind of like a direct counter to Uther, even more so than Zul Jin.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some heroes who can work through armor.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, Malthael does it with his trait, and Zul Jin now can do it at 16. So it's not, you know, the first 15 levels of the game he doesn't have anything,
Right.
and now he has to mark them. So I think should be pretty good.
Yeah, I've got no problem with the effects of removing armor because they need to exist. And giving him a specialization in something along with basically baselining God, why am I blanking on the assassin quest where you kill things for basic attack
Oh
damage?
yeah.
Seasoned
Seasoned
marksman.
marksman. They basically baselined a seasoned marksman into him that also gives him range. He's going to be very improved.
Yeah, most definitely. But we're not going to go through all the changes. Make sure to check out the Heroes site for that, or actually heroesofthestorm.blitzpro.com has those patch notes up for you. Check them out. There's a lot of changes that you'll want to check out for him. But the other one we're really going to highlight, though, is Muradin is getting a very significant rework, losing some basic attack damage, but its Hammer Time baseline quest has been added. Hit 25 enemy heroes with Stormbolt, and every hero who dies within 2.5 seconds of being hit by Stormbolt grants you 3 stacks, and once you're at 25 stacks, phase attacks will reduce the cooldown of Stormbolt by 1 second, and it'll pierce as well. So combining a lot of those talents that were pretty standard for most Muradin players. Zax, I know you as a warrior player probably excited about this because Muradin's kind of been a little bit out of the meta for a bit.
Well, I feel like Muradin's kind of suffered from the ETC syndrome there for a while. He's not bad. They're just like, I don't even know why he left the meta. There's really
People get
nothing
bored
wrong with him.
of heroes. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes they just fall out of meta because like I've been playing ETC for 3 months. I don't want to play him. They stop playing it for 2 months, and somebody picks up ETC again and remembers, oh yeah, he's broken.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I messed around with ETC some today, and like I'm a huge fan of Sledgehammer in general. We all know this. I look for any excuse to take Sledgehammer.
We murdered him.
With Muradin. And I like it. I like it because the two talents that kind of conflicted with being able to take that were at 1 and was at 1 and 4, but now they've rolled that into its baseline, and now it's just really, really nice. I mean, you still take Perfect Storm. The Stormbolt decrease is nice. It doesn't feel like you run out of as much mana quickly. If you're a Sledgehammer fan, you do notice the decreased damage off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get that quest completed, like your damage starts ramping up in a hurry. I mean, you got to back a lot because of it, but like it ramps up in a hurry. I think the AI game I was messing around in, I think I topped 2200 damage with a storm bolt onto a structure, and that's late game ridiculousness. And I tried out the Bronzebeard Rage talent. I didn't like it. Like, it sounds really good. It sounds like it would be really good for like long, drawn out team fights. And just grab healing static still. I mean, that's still the way to go. The playmaker change at 20 is interesting, but nobody takes Haymaker. So
That's not true.
Okay, nobody takes it in a serious setting.
Okay, I'll allow that.
This Unstoppable Force actually sounds really good. While Avatar is active, you get 20 armor and basic attacks, reduce the cooldown to Thunderclap and Dwarf Toss by a half second. That sounds really strong. But then again, he has Rewind. And usually Rewind is all you're going to need. Mm-hmm. And if you've gotten that quest done, you're going to have a Piercing Bolt. You're going to have, everything you need to be able to just run through people in the late game. But I like what they were trying to do with that. So that's my thought. People are talking about like Dwarf Toss being a thing now, like a Dwarf Toss build, and I'm like, you're kind of just taken away from his strengths, which is his in-game fight sustain or his team fight sustain and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can get behind that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's brief tonight with me. I mean, he's gonna come back in the meta, I think. Like, I really like these changes. These are really strong changes.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. So. I'm excited to play with these changes. There's definitely some other big changes for other heroes, but I think we're going to leave those for next week, just when the patch does go live. We're assuming next week the patch goes live. A lot more other supports, other warriors are getting some pretty big changes, and those will all be really interesting to see how they play out. And what's really interesting about that is that this exact patch will be played during BlizzCon. And as we were talking about that in our group chat today, we were like, well, why is Junkrat available when these players only have a couple weeks to adjust to him? And Blizzard, right before the show started, tweeted out that Junkrat will be disabled for HGC finals, which I think we can all agree is a pretty good thing just for the health of the competitiveness of the game. With all these changes already that these teams are having to adjust to, adding a new hero onto that as well is going to be would have been pretty rough, I think. And this will be the first tournament Anna is available, correct?
Yes. I think part of the reason that the Junkrat is disabled for the finals is, the Korean servers will patch 4 days before or something like that. 4 days before they leave for BlizzCon, so that would give them like 3 days to practice with him on live. Yeah, and they'll be doing a lot of scrims with the teams there once they're in California. But yeah, what I was worried about, and I want to talk a little bit about this just because I thought it was an interesting conversation we had, was it would have, I felt like, made some of the teams either try to learn Junkrat very quickly or just decide we're going to waste a ban on this hero so that we just never have to deal with it during this tournament, just because we don't want to spend the time adjusting to him. Powerhour fan, what are your thoughts on that? And obviously, I think we all agree that this is a good decision.
Oh yeah, definitely. They didn't need to add the chaos of Junkrat into this mix, especially with such volatile changes to Zul Jin and Muradin, who could potentially become first ban, first pick material off of these changes.
Yeah, I really dislike the reworks happening at all in this patch. Because like Charlie said, just huge changes right before a competitive event are rough. Like, some teams are going to understand it well, and some teams are not going to. And you're going to get a lot of, you know, results that are based on, you know, maybe Roll20 understands the meta, and they actually beat Dignitas, even though they're not as good as Dignitas. You're going to have results like that. And, like, to be fair, you know, your ability to read a patch and your ability to adapt to it is a skill. But you're going to have teams who are just mechanically worse at, you know, shot calling, worse at teamwork, who pull off wins. And I think, you know, it's my personal opinion that, you know, what should be rewarded at the biggest competition of the year is the mechanical skill, the shot calling, all those things, not, you know, how good are you at guessing what the patch is going to bring. So I really wish this patch was just a lot more stable. It didn't have these huge changes.
Yeah, I mean, we only mentioned
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we only mentioned the Murd and Zul Jin changes. I mean, go look at the patch notes yourself. There's tons of impactful changes to many of the supports in the game, as well as some of the other warriors. So, it could be really the Wild West. And the thing is, it'll be good for the audience, for the viewing audience to see. I think if the meta is going to be as volatile as I think it will be, and I think that might have been the thought process behind initially having Junkrat available.
It definitely was. It was definitely, we want people to see this cool new hero. We want people to see, oh, Junkrat's fun. He does crazy things. This will be fun to watch. So, you know, that's more entertaining that way. But if you're looking for, like, the actual highest quality games, then having Junkrat playable is not what you want at all.
I think it'll still have that quality of, like, oh, look what this can do, but it will be Ana instead. Because with the double support and all these healer changes, it's going to be interesting to see how many drafts she makes it through to being picked versus being banned.
I 100% agree. Anna's going to be the hero to watch in this tournament because teams have had plenty of times to mess around with her at this point. And, yeah, we could see some very interesting meta evolution based around Anna's presence.
And also the fact that none of the teams, aside from scrims, are going to get to see what others pair with her or how good they are with her or what tricks they have up their sleeve with her until BlizzCon.
I am gonna briefly say, since this patch is gonna be live and the hero changes are gonna be live for BlizzCon. Welcome back, Johanna.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even touch on that, but she's getting a pretty significant health increase. And that as a warrior, that's kind of what you want. Oh my goodness, what is going on?
That's not me typing.
I know.
That's not me
I know.
Typing.
I wasn't gonna accuse you, Zex.
It's
Anyways.
my fault.
Anyways, yeah, I was scrolling through trying to find these Joe changes just really quickly, but yeah, Falling Sword getting a buff, Hold Your Ground at 1 getting a buff.
No, I'm just talking about the health buff.
Yeah, just the health buff alone is pretty huge. So it's almost 200 more for her.
So yeah, that alone is just going to bring her just rampaging back into the meta.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, sorry, I know we said we weren't going to.
No, it's okay.
About the others,
no, I think that was a good one, just to emphasize our point on how volatile this patch can be. But really quickly, we want to talk about something a little bit more fun. We did mention this in the PTR patch notes. Hollow's End 2017 is coming. Lots of new skins, lots of new stuff. I'm really excited about a new Brightwing skin. Finally, how many years has it been since we've had a Brightwing skin?
Not since Alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been that.
I mean, was the
I
last
think
team
it
without
has.
that terrible monkey thing?
Monkey Break
Yeah.
came out in alpha.
Yep.
Didn't you just insult Charlie? Isn't Monkey Brightwing his favorite skin?
Yeah,
I know
that's
he
my.
loves it. I still
Me and
think
Carl,
it's terrible.
we've had that point of contention since Nexus Night Owl days.
Our friendship is built upon this tension.
He knows I make people hold bananas. He's just learned to
Oh
live
my
with it.
gosh.
I have a very 50-50 view on these skins. Some of them are wonderful, and others, like the Brightwing one, I just think are kind of questionable.
Okay, to defend
No.
Blizzard on that, they have come out and said many times that for whatever reason, Brightwing is like one of the hardest heroes to make skins for, apparently.
I can imagine that. I can definitely see that being a thing. But like, okay, I know you guys hate Overwatch. I get it, but the skins comparison in detail, there's more effort on individual skins. Like the one we got for Cho'Gall, for example, kind of silly. Same like Brightwing, I get is difficult, but Cho'Gall, like a pumpkin head.
Yeah, that kind of feels a little
A pumpkin
feels
head.
bad, man.
And we'll talk. My personal least favorite. 2 years in the making, we finally get a Gazlo skin. It's a paper bag.
Wait,
Paper
didn't
bag.
we?
It's a pretty fantastic paper bag.
Like,
Man, if I played Gazelle, I'd buy that skin.
It's pretty funny.
I feel like they screwed up on the Greymane skin, the Dr. Wolfenstein. Like, I kind of I like, okay, yeah, whatever, that's clever Wolfenstein, but like Greymane's not Wolfenstein. He's more Jekyll and Hyde. I'm just saying.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Murky one is one of the greatest skins that they've ever released.
It's pretty solid.
Tiny Garden of Terror.
So every time Garden of Terror comes up in ranked, are you just gonna pick Murky instantly to match?
That way they won't be able to tell whether they're killing Murky or one of the little flankers.
Especially with the big Tuna Kahuna talent, just have a giant little Murloc. Some of them are good. I do think that some of them need a little more detail. As far as like, they spend all this time animating and developing these things. It's just some of them feel like they missed the mark. Like it could have been one thing and it was another. Like you said with the Greymane skin. I do think the Valera one is pretty sharp though.
Valera's pretty good. It's similar to Vala's, and to kind of piggyback off I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about buying skins and how much of a pain they are. The nice thing is that we'll be getting the Hollows and Classic bundle again, so if you missed out on some of those skins, you will be able to purchase those if you want to. But I think the coolest thing is this silly mount.
The picnic blanket.
Yeah. Picnic Stallion is my favorite for sure. No contest.
We need like a Rhaegar, or not Rhaegar, a Rexar Yogi Bear skin for that mount.
I could get behind that.
I do really like the Spectral Stallion though as well. It looks very cool with the usually I'm not a big fan of the spectral kind of mounts, but yeah, seeing the bones inside through there is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like
definitely
the drawing of a horse on a horse.
Yeah,
right.
That's pretty funny.
I like that. That's a really good one. That's nice and
he's dressed up as a horse.
The sprays and stuff are quite good for the
there's some good sprays, there's some good portraits, but it's unfortunate that there's only one good portrait available.
Buy
P-Flame Gene knows what I'm talking about.
I've got to buy brand new emojis.
Oh, you poor thing! They're so expensive.
I feel so bad for you.
Because I am. This is my goal from now on. Like if there are emojis, I will own them. I will be the only guy, short of probably Gladman, who owns all the emojis.
Is that the guy who's donated like 1 billion bits?
Yeah, he's probably donated like 10,000.
No, it's way more.
Lot
It's
more.
like
He's doing
it's like 400,000
every team.
Yeah. It's a huge amount.
No,
Yeah.
that's a lie.
No, go
'Cause
look.
I know he hasn't donated 100K to
Lag F.
Don't say it.
Superstars.
Oh, okay.
Like
Oh,
I
my
could get
goodness.
on the leaderboard for Superstars. If I want.
Oh.
Paying playing ducks more than playing ducks is paying playing ducks.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Oh my
It's
goodness.
called Diamond Skin now, Charlie. Keep
I'm
up.
sorry. My bad.
There we go. But yeah,
That was a good one.
that was really good, by the way. If you're not familiar with that, Playing Ducks has been paying their players for 4+ months or something like that. Anyways, esports. Just a reminder, though, really quickly about the Hallows End event. Don't hoard your loot chest. It doesn't work like that. I saw someone saying that they were gonna be like getting all of the Hallows End stuff because they had 50-something chests. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that, buddy. Sorry, but anyways, you're guaranteed at least one of the limited time events. So that'll be good.
That's one of those things where if you've been playing this game long enough to have that many loot boxes, how do you not know that they don't roll over for events? Otherwise,
That's a good question.
You would never have to, like, the whole point is to play the event. You would never have to play the event if you just hoard your loot boxes. There's no point in that. You can buy them, by all means, but you can't hoard them.
Yeah, I don't know where this mentality of, like, especially the older players who've been sitting on loot boxes for a while, you're like, I'll just wait for the next hot thing and then open a bunch of chests and I'll get all the neat stuff. And, shut up, sit down.
But yeah, that's going to be the event coming up shortly, probably next week, I imagine. Does the news supposed to even say what day it's going to be? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. There's HEC news to talk about. We have a lot of really cool stuff to talk about, as we do have 2 brand new teams coming to HEC, one for EU, one for North America. We do have, as Zextras calls them, the not amateur Heroes Hearth, making it to HEC Pro, beating Even in Death, sending them out of HEC Pro and taking their spot.
To the surprise of no one.
To be fair, those first 2 games looked really rough for Heroes Hearth.
Yeah, Even in Death looked like a different team on that first game.
Well, because they were taking it seriously, and Heroes Hearth probably wasn't taking them No. I'm not saying Heroes Hearth didn't take it seriously. They understood the situation they were in, but I don't think they I don't think they respected Even in Death's improvement.
Don't rewrite history. They had a bad
game.
They had a very bad draft, and they looked terrible in game 1 against Even in Death.
Is that the one they baited the multiple healer ban?
It might have been. I don't know. There were 6 games.
I don't think
they all meshed together.
I don't think Heroes Hearth respected Even in Death enough those first 2 games. I don't think they respected the improvement Even in Death had throughout the course of getting beat on in the HGC.
I mean, we'll have to agree to disagree because there's no way we can tell what their motivations are. But I highly doubt an amateur team with the chance to qualify at a Crucible went in taking its team. It had plenty of time to scout for granted.
I do wonder if Even in Death, because I see Heroes Hearth, their play, aside from that first squeak of a game, their play being more advanced than Even in Death, because this was Even in Death's first year, or first half of the season, something like that. I wonder if it had been reversed, the teams they faced, if they would have stayed in. Because Heroes Hearth I could see as being one of the top 4.
I don't know. Imported Sport's pretty good. I really think that they probably could have beat Even in Death.
Yeah.
Because they did beat Heroes Hearth in the playoffs. Had the playoffs been the rules they were last Crucible, we'd probably be talking about imported support at the very least being an HEC Pro. Although I think Heroes Hearth would have beaten Lag F as well.
Yeah. I think lag F set would have went to full 7.
Yes. Which has, how crushing is that for imported support? They faced lag F in the first Crucible and lost, and in the second Crucible, they almost had it, and they couldn't beat lag F.
We just can't get rid of lag force.
It's just one of those things. It's gonna be a building thing. It'll happen. Imported support, but like if they keep it up, like that's how the scene grows. Is you don't just give up, and roster apocalypse all the teams. Like you gotta keep working at it. Like when's the last time Dignitas had a roster change?
They're top 2, so.
But
Yeah,
that's
also
what
the
I
argument,
mean.
if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
That's
So,
like-
if your team fails to make it in HGC twice, a lot of players are like, this team is just not going to make it to the HGC. So
has
I don't
it been
think
the
you
same
blow
team,
up the
same
roster,
roster?
but I think you should make at least a roster change, maybe 2.
But what about the difference between the roster changes and changing your play, like as a team? Like
I mean, they've been doing it for a year.
Mhm.
It didn't work.
1 year. That's
Yeah,
it.
1 year.
That's all the effort. It was 1 year.
Yes, this is a MOBA we're talking about.
I'm not saying the org should quit Heroes. I'm saying you make a change, and you still keep working on your play. You don't say, well, we're just going to let you guys keep playing Hero League, get another player, and hopefully we do better in the next Crucible.
Okay.
I'm wondering though. Sorry to go on imported support more. I'm wondering if someone's going to pick up the Aware, because his play was absolutely phenomenal on support, especially Ariel.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, I'll agree. I'll agree with that. But to answer your question, they have been through a roster swap after it looks like January. Hecarim J traded and shot all left, and were replaced by Swabs Magoo, Specialty, and FZ Ignition. So. And then they've been together for a while now.
7-8 months now.
Yeah. So, but if your team fails, like, if they switch their roster up, so I'm kind of in agreement with Carl, if I heard him right. It is time to look for different options. Like, if you try to get into the HGC twice and you fall short, it's okay to look for some, it's okay to switch things up. In that case,
I kind of side with Elena here. I think it's one of those things where if you're always changing things up, you have no stability to build on. Like there's no sort of kind of core to go at, and you can grow as a player if you keep playing. There's just different plateaus you hit, and you got to play through them. And they could just be in the middle of a plateau right now, and it suddenly all click for them in 3 months with a couple of meta changes and new heroes and whatever, So you have to have some trepidation. You can't just go, yeah, let's blow it up. That's the answer, because it's not like teams are.
I mean, I never said blow it up. I said, like, if you got to
blow
drop
up one
person,
players.
Yeah, change a player.
Yeah, I'm not saying like blow the whole team up either. I guess it came out like that. But yeah, you're saying make a pretty drastic change when you change out 2 players, because chemistry between players is a thing. It grows.
Not only that, but the roles. Like, what about a role switch as opposed to a roster switch?
We've seen that happen with GFE, and it didn't help them.
No, yeah, like I don't like role swaps either. We saw Kenma try that once, and that just ended in failure.
I think
Well,
a
that's
role
my-
swap is only something you consider when you take on a new player. It's
yeah.
something where you go, okay, well, this guy we're acquiring is kind of better at your role, and you also sort of off tank, so let's have you do that instead. Like that's
Lag F has had some serious problems with that. I feel like their support players changed multiple times over the season. I know Big E was playing support for a while, and now I think Tomster is their main support, which feels bad to me because he's a really talented assassin player, and it just feels awkward.
I look at it as like with the teams in the open that are trying to get into the HGC, they're hungrier and more willing to try things as opposed to like the bottom 2 or 3 teams in HGC who are just getting by on being just good enough to stay out of being dropped into the Crucible. Like,
I
don't
don't-
see them improving.
Okay. I don't think anybody on Lagav is happy being last. Like, these are guys that have been on top teams, and it was a while ago, but they've been really good. And they're competitive guys, right? Zuna's been a competitor for years. He was a pro league player for a while, kind of boomed out when he came over to HOTS, and he did really well for a while.
Mhm.
Like, they have the desire. They're not sitting here saying, I got my 20K a year, I'm happy. You know, that's all I need. Just got to worry about winning a Crucible match once every 6 months.
But that's the line between having 5 good players and having a good team. Like we talked about in that interview, like if you can have good players, but if they can't make the thing happen together, it's not going to go anywhere. And if you don't learn how, what's the point?
Yeah. If you have players and they can't make anything happen, it's not going to go anywhere, so you make a roster swap.
Her
Like,
point
I
was
think-
though, and it was a point that what's his face made in the interview because I'm blanking on everything.
Justin.
Where he said you could take the 5 best players in the country and put them all on one team, and he doesn't think they'd be the best team in the country.
Like you said, like these guys, okay, so they're veterans of the MOBA, like they're veterans of the esports scene, but they're just barely staying afloat. They're treading water. Why are they not getting any better if they're that good? Why are they constantly on the bottom?
Because maybe just some of the players don't work well together. And we're talking
Why isn't
we're talking about
Imperial
it.
getting better?
We're talking about a problem that exists in mainstream sports as well, where people complain about, oh, why don't they stick together and try to work it out? But yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's more of a people problem and people working together problem.
Esports is like women's gymnastics. There's a short time frame of your life that you're eligible. It's like teenage to mid-20s, and it's like highly competitive, and it constantly rotates who's on top, and it's just gonna end in like 5 years for all of the people on the roster now.
Well, I feel like we've talked about this before, but the problem with top level competitiveness is like you're like in that top 0.5% of players, and you're trying to play with other players that are that same skill level, and egos can really come into play in a pretty hilarious fashion. But I feel like an example of changing teams that has gone well, we can really look at Glaurung, because he was swapping teams constantly in 2016.
He failed on every team he was on.
Yeah,
He
and
just
then
made them worse. Like, he made them better for 3 months, and then they tanked. They were bad.
And now with this roster on Roll20, he's found a way to make it work, and the team, I think, works around him and understands their role, and obviously it's done great things for them.
Wasn't one of his things that the teams he would join, like he would pinpoint shot call and it would gain speed and then tank, and this team has done the opposite, where like he did the shot calling, and then when he stopped doing it, they got better.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's
what
part of it.
Roll20's thing, but yeah, Glaurung had very, very micromanaging shot call. So what happened on Tempo Storm was they brought him on and he shot called, and he shot called them all really well, and they were all being very directed, and it was great. And then eventually the players started turning their brains off because Glaurung would tell them exactly what they needed to do, and they didn't have to think about it. So they just became worse
Zug,
players
zug,
because
go to
Glaurung
work.
was shot calling them so specifically.
Yeah.
Well, and also the big thing I think for Glaurung as well is he expanded his hero pool to where he couldn't get banned out. I mean, it was kind of the whole Medivh era, where it was like, oh, just ban out Medivh, and Glaurung struggles on whatever
Yeah,
hero, or it
Ben,
was
yeah,
Zeratul.
Zeratul.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Glaurung's gotten better as a player, right? He's more versatile. He doesn't seem to be micromanaging his players anymore. He's not like choking out his players' growth. Like, Glaurung's much better than he was on Tempo Storm. You know, so yeah, players can change and can get better.
And that's a high compliment, because you really don't like Glaurung either. If
No,
I remember
I
correctly.
mostly because of what he like of him in the early days, and because he was on Tempo Storm, and I'm a C9 fan, so I have to maintain the rivalry, even though C9's dead.
Exactly.
That's fair.
I
So-
want to just point out that Dethan17 in chat made a very good point saying, I feel like top teams scrim against top teams and low teams scrimming low teams. The low teams aren't going to grow outside of their box. So
Yeah, I
that's
will.
a problem we've kind of hit on before.
Yeah, I will
agree with
say. I will say, a minor region team that I've been talking with asked me if I could help them with scrims.
Well,
So
You got the hookup, DJ?
Hook it up.
yeah,
news
well,
of
You
your
got enough Twitter
Hollywood
hookups.
swagger has spread
I guess so.
to the other countries now. That's how
Yeah.
popular you are.
He's just
Exactly.
gonna call up Garng and say, "Hey, can you get my boys from this minor region to scrim?" And I was like, "Yeah, anything for you, DJ."
So this is totally unrelated, but we didn't talk about it. But did you see that Australia has a brand new champion? We don't
Nomiya
have.
didn't-
Nomiya did
No.
not win.
Oh yes.
Really? Is it Deadly Kittens?
No, Deadly Kittens is from
Oh,
Taiwan.
they're New Zealand. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why did I
Deadly
think they were
Kittens
New
used to be
Zealand?
please buff Arthas.
hmm
Oh, okay.
But it was Dark Matter, I think is the team
Yeah, it was
name.
dark something.
Dark Side?
Dark Side, Dark Sided.
Yeah.
There we go, Dark Sided.
Something,
yeah,
something Dark Side.
I for whatever reason was up late that night and I got to watch that series and it was actually a really tightly contested series and I'm excited to see some new blood. They had their support player made some really insane clutch plays, so they'll be interesting to watch. And
The other
Huh?
exciting thing is then with the announcement of BlizzCon and the schedule being posted, HGC no longer has to share a stage
yes,
with
yes,
the Warcraft Arena Challenge,
That-
which means everything we do is all on our own now. We don't
that
have to
makes me
share
so
anymore.
happy because then we don't have heroes going till like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yes, you can
Um,
actually go to the concert this year because you don't have to wait for the arena finals to finish.
Exactly.
We
Yeah,
can't
I
go
rem-
arenas anymore. It's about the Mythic Plus Invitational.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. All right, we're moving out of our realm of knowledge here. But HEC, we had actually the two teams continuing on were... Who was I just had that up? Diamond Skin and Lag Force defending their spots, if you couldn't tell from our discussion. But that's pretty good. I mean, that's what you want from Crucible. You want some teams moving up. You want some teams defending their spot. And we got both for both regions.
Cool.
Exciting news. Good stuff. Go team.
Go team. But yeah, anything else we want to talk about before we close out the show? Any last minute additions?
I'm not surprised Nomiya didn't win. The loss of Arcaner was a pretty big hit to them
Mm-hmm.
in that region. I still expected Nomiya to win, but them not winning didn't really doesn't shock me. Someone was bound to pick up that slack, and it looks like Dark Art Killers or whoever.
Dark-sided.
Them. It looks like they decided to step it up, and
Now, were they...
hey, that's good news for Roll20 because Nomiya always has their number and screws everything up in the group stages during whatever event.
Did you guys go over the group stages yet?
No, I think
I
we'll
wasn't
go
here
over
last
those.
week, so
I think we'll go over those next
a little
week.
closer to BlizzCon?
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of BlizzCon, what's your prediction for the announcement for Heroes? What would you think it would be?
Well, there was a leak that leads me to believe something, but in general, it's a hero that breaks the game in some way, like Shogal or Abathur or Lost
Ragnaros and Viking, Ragnaros and Varian
Ragnaros
last year.
and Varian. Yeah, something like that. We'll probably get a map. Hopefully, finally a Warcraft map.
Nope.
We have two Snake and Overwatch maps.
Just give us
No
either a
Warcraft map.
Rothi Basin or Warsong Gulch. That's all I want.
Something, Blizzard, please.
It's gonna be like
Apparently-
Moonshire.
My prediction is Charlie's finally gonna get his wish, and the innkeeper will make it into Heroes.
That'd be cool to bring in Blizzard's their new content The one thing, because I don't know, this is probably wrong, but Blizzard waited to release an Overwatch hero until Overwatch was officially released to let them kind of do their own thing. So I don't know if Blizzard's going to wait for Hearthstone to do a couple more of the shorts in the comics and build up their scene before they pull in these characters. But I would like Hearthstone heroes to show up. So I don't know, it'd be really cool. If not, then like Gamescom next year or something.
Yeah, because I've always kind of like, I don't know if it was me being contrarian or whatever, but I always kind of pushed back on the heroes or the Hearthstone heroes and Hearth or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Hearthstone and heroes.
That's it.
Hashtag bring Hearthstone to Heroes. Make it a thing, boys.
But I always push that back. But now that they released that short, I'm like, okay, you've actually got a cast of people in here. They all seem to have some kind of role within the end. Like you can build off this. Like this is not, sorry, Charlie. Summon, bring man bear shark guy to heroes. This is.
So you'd be okay if they brought the mouse from the cinematic?
I wouldn't mind seeing the mouse as like one of the Innkeeper's ultimates. Isn't the mouse attached to the Innkeeper or something?
Yeah, it's the Innkeeper's pet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that as an ultimate or something, or maybe even as trait.
New Misha.
Yeah.
No. Like it would automatically go out and grab like health globes and stuff nearby.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. I don't know.
It would bring or something else
Like
involving
Lunara's
with
little sister.
But it'd be cool to bring some Hearthstone heroes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to.
I completely support this now.
I only support Hearthstone heroes if I get Doomsayer and get to kill everyone on the battlefield at once.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
After 10 seconds, every hero in the game
Everyone dies. Preferably on like the pirate map where there's coins just everywhere then.
Speaking of that, Speaking of that, P Flame G was carrying how many coins?
24.
6.
Oh, 26.
Yeah, no, you get like a Malthael, or not a Malthael, a Kel'Thuzad or a Leoric or a Murky on your team, then you just ult everybody, and you've got one person alive faster than everybody else to collect all the coins.
Oh my gosh.
I hit Hogger.
I feel
no one will ever be able to beat him. He'd be 100% win rate hero.
I feel like I have to make the disclaimer anytime I like predict anything that I don't actually know anything. I swear, even though I'm under like 40,000 NDAs from Blizzard, I've signed so many of those. It's stupid. But anyways, I feel like we're going to get some more features because Heroes 2.0 launched earlier this year, and they said that was kind of the beginning of a lot of new features coming into the game. And I feel like maybe we'll get some better social features, maybe clans coming back into the game, please.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know. The Battle.net stuff is kind of doing that.
Yeah, it is to a degree.
I mean, maybe they integrated in the heroes.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, but a new Battle.net client's coming out.
Voice comms in Heroes.
No. No.
Hey, you can turn it off. Join voice chat, leave voice chat.
I'm so torn on this. I'm not sure which way I am on this.
After years and years of Dota, no voice chat. That's one of the most appealing features of Heroes to me is that you can't hear that 13-year-old kid at 7 o'clock at night complaining about how his team is never there when he's hunting across the map. No.
But I feel like that's part of the damage of solo queue is that there is no way to communicate besides stopping what you're doing in game and typing it out.
Ping.
The problem is, like in the situation that you were in earlier, giving mic comms to people in Heroes versus Overwatch. Overwatch, you can kind of like statically drop in and out of games if things are really toxic. Like if someone's being a jerk, like your only choice is to mute and get out of chat, or it's a weird thing to kind of want in the game. Because you know people aren't going to use it right.
Speaking of dropouts, what about the idea of in things like Quick Match or Unranked, if somebody AFKs out or drops out, they get replaced with someone else as opposed to a bot?
No one's going to like that.
No one's going to like that, and it'll never work with the reconnect system that Blizzard has.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're going to fix the reconnect system.
You can't.
Watch it.
I hate the reconnect
They'd have to build
system.
a new engine for Heroes.
That's what it is. Heroes 3.0.
3.0.
Actual
2.5.
Heroes 2.0.
2.5.1, sir.
Like,
We have to
I
explore.
just want to be able to observe my friends playing.
That I hope they do actually announce.
Oh, like
Okay,
spectate mode?
okay.
I mean,
now
but
I'm
can you
actually
dynamically jump into a game in StarCraft. Like, I don't know if the engine even can do
no,
that.
no, you can't.
Like, you have to be in the start of game lobby. It just doesn't know how to handle that.
Yeah, Heroes 3.0. It's coming.
Spectate just seems like a thing that should, since there is an observer thing, it should. It
But
doesn't.
like I said, there's a difference between
yeah.
I am in the lobby and created with it, and I'm just an invisible camera.
This is
and I
the
can hop in midway.
this is the limitation of them building it on top of the StarCraft engine, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm going to speculate on is we'll have like caster announcer packs like StarCraft.
That'd be cool.
Look for me and Balrog's announcer pack later on in 2018.
Does that mean I get to have a Shrimpy as part of my announcer?
Oh my goodness. Schmippy!
Where's my NBA Jam announcer pack?
You can only play it with Asmodunk.
That's fine. I'll be the best
Like-
damn asthma dunk in the world. Then.
Oh, there is a Junkrat announcer on the PTR. I forgot to mention that. He
Oh,
has
that's
an
cool.
announcer pack. Yeah, it's very entertaining. Still
mm.
not as good as the
Okay,
Lily
so
one.
let's kind of explore this line. What are some of the things that Blizzard has worked with that could loan itself to celebrities, like not within Blizzard products?
Oh, as in like put in the game?
Yeah, like okay, example.
Terry Crews. Terry Crews announcer for Heroes, please.
Okay,
Please.
Terry Crews.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, because Dota has. so
Yeah,
many
Dota has
announcer
that.
packs. They've got a Gladys announcer pack from Portal.
Rick and Morty.
They've got
Oh,
like.
I don't know. I don't know about announcer pack in Heroes.
But
It just seems like it's some kind of thing with legal or contracts or something, because they're very particular about when they do things like that. Like even one of the not Heroes, for when Overwatch launched, they did the headphones through Taco Bell, but they're not doing like Lucio headphones on the Gear Shop, because then they would have to pick one brand to go with. I think it has to do with like not picking one brand over the other as far as like their gear goes. I don't know if that crosses over to in-game as well.
I don't know. Their branded gear is mostly Razer lately.
But that's what I mean. Like, they do have some, like, those headphones, I think, were Steel Series. Oh, no, those are Man of Wars. But, like, I don't know. With the in-game, it seems like they hint at other things, like the Junkrat Joker skin, but it's not direct correlations. Like, the Sandwich
That's true.
skin Morales has. They're close representations, but they don't cross over into actually representing other trademark things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, as much as I love the NBA Jam's announcer, I don't know if they would ever license it to do it. So, maybe we'll get Space Jam announcer. How about that? You can have Michael Jordan.
well, I don't know if Kenny Mayne owns the rights to the announcer voice for NBA Jam. I mean, wouldn't even have to do like NBA Jam per se. You just have to get Kenny Mayne on there,
Mm-hmm.
True.
who is the sportscaster who does the NBA Jam voice.
Yeah.
So
It's an interesting concept, though, because I did notice that the Blizzard career page has exploded in the last 24 hours with new positions available. So they're definitely looking for new talent for projects that they're working on.
Here's the question: Do
it's-
we get those announcements at BlizzCon?
No, the only major announcement we're getting at BlizzCon is the next Warcraft expansion.
what about Diablo?
No.
I'm telling you,
Wah,
Diablo
wah.
3 remastered.
What about Warcraft 4?
Nope.
No Warcraft for you.
Worst BlizzCon ever.
Speaking of
Weird.
BlizzCon, though, we did get the items actually revealed a little bit. So we did get to see what we're getting in Heroes. If you have a virtual ticket, the Razorback mount, the portrait spray, and banner, they're pretty cool. They're they're okay. They're BlizzCon-y colors. The big spoiler though for BlizzCon, if you didn't notice it yet, it did get taken down. But if you looked at the description of the World of Warcraft Sargeras shirt, it basically spoils. It spoils the end of
spoils
Legion.
the end of the next raid.
Yeah.
Which is
so.
the end of Legion.
Which makes me really curious about the next expansion.
Which means it's been photographed all over the internet already.
Yeah,
I mean, so to be fair, like, the thing it spoiled has been in PTR data files. Like, people already knew. But there
I
is a
didn't
slight
know.
difference between people looking for, like...
Looking for
you know,
those spoilers,
like, people
yeah.
will post, like, here, I found this, and, you, like, here's a spoiler, and you can read it if you want, but then it was just on the Blizzard Gear store.
Yeah, I want to see the spoiler.
Okay, I'll send
Really?
it to you, but don't...
No, okay, so
I'll send it to you after the show, so we don't talk about it
here's
on the show.
Here's the thing. I don't like playing MMOs, but I love the lore behind World of Warcraft. Like, there are days where I just read Wowpedia for hours on end. Just
It would be interesting if they would nap it out in a, not like a storybook. I mean, maybe a storybook, but, or even like make it like a YouTube chain. Like all of the cinematics in a row so you could follow it. But like the quest lines,
fans
are
have
so
done
much
that.
of it.
Sorry, my cat fell off.
Oh.
What a dork.
I was scratching his ear, and he's like, "Oh God, that." Yeah, and I stopped, and he kind of fell because he was bracing himself on the
Failed the
stand on
function.
my desk. Yeah. So, sorry. No, but yeah, I love the lore behind World of Warcraft. It's so
Well,
much.
the spoiler is that somebody stabbed something.
Ooh.
That's not much of a spoiler. I assume Sargeras gets stabbed.
Oh,
Somebody stabbed something.
also with the BlizzCon announcements, the gear shop has updated. For those of you who have virtual tickets, you can buy, there is some new Heroes merchandise, including hats that Jimmy hates, HGC shirts, and the new pins for this year as well.
I hated the hats.
I did not like the
They look
block
like
lettering
baseball
on
hats.
I didn't like the block lettering on the
Yeah,
HEC
you know,
stuff.
I wish that the HGC design, the jacket design, but it had the logoing of the Overwatch World Cup, because it has the logo on the front and then real small on the back it just has like the finals and the year of it. Like, it's very simple design. It's not overtly, like, the text on this is huge. Like, I want the jacket, but it's just a huge letter on the back of it. It's a very strange jacket.
Yeah, most definitely. But
You should get
before...
the pom-pom hat, the Nexus pom hat.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to save money, but BlizzCon always screws that up. I can't believe BlizzCon's almost here, though. Like...
23 days? 22 days?
That's crazy.
I'm super excited.
Anyways, we went a little long because we started talking about BlizzCon. But any closing thoughts before we head off for the week? Powerhour fan, I'll start things with you.
Follow me and Willie doing Rec League. We started a league for a chair league, basically. But it's not for cheer league, it's our own league. But it's going to take place in the off-season of cheer league. So you can come watch Nexus commentary on Thursday for more Amateur Heroes action.
There you have it. Make sure to follow that. I'm part of it as well. Zextras?
What Charlie said. Also, I'm going to be casting some TESPA action this Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm not sure who will be joining me, but somebody will be joining me, or it will be me and my cat casting. I'm not sure yet. So we'll get that figured out. Twitch.tv/Nexus commentaries. That's all I got. I really want to go to bed.
Physical art.
No, I'm excited for BlizzCon. I am looking forward to Junkrat going live because it's very difficult to queue up on the PTR. And I'm excited to see what's next.
P Flame G.
I'm proud of Blizzard for not making Junkrat playable at BlizzCon. I hope they calm down patches prior to big tournaments in the future.
Oh, that's another thing that they'll probably announce. More details on the next season HEC. So
Yes.
we have that to look forward to. That's a guaranteed. That's a gimme. That's a free space on your bingo BlizzCon board.
Do you think they'll make major changes to HTC or tweak things?
I think they'll just tweak things. I don't think there's any major changes coming.
As compared to the first year prior to HTC in the ladder system?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're going back to tournament system.
Nope. Unfortunately not. But anyways, we
Fortunately,
thank
not.
you guys for checking out Heroes Power. This has been episode 120. Make sure to check us out on iTunes, Google Play. Give us reviews if you enjoy the show. Well, even if you don't enjoy the show, review us anyways. It helps grow the show. Check out blizzpro.com to hear all the latest episodes and stay up to date on all current Blizzard news. YouTube.com/BlizzPro for all previous video episodes. Discord.BlizzPro.com. Check that out. And check out the other shows on the BlizzPro Network. West March Workshop, Wednesdays at 6. Payload Podcast on Thursdays at 7. Well Met, Mondays at 7. And Arcane Analysis, available on BlizzPro.com for World of Warcraft. This has been the Heroes Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Enjoy your time in the Nexus. And stay tight.